Hello, it is IARESMART, and welcome back to the series where I point out something weird in Star Wars you probably didn't notice. If you missed the first two episodes, basically in the first one, I pointed out the fact that Star Destroyer windows just defy logic by, looking one way if you look at it one way, and then another way if you look at another way. It's a whole thing. You can go watch that video. And then in the next episode, I point out the fact that Lando's cape closet makes no sense, because the hangers are just organized awfully, and then there's it's just an awful closet. The whole thing is just a whole mess. So anyway, those are the previous two episodes. Today, we're going to be talking about Star Destroyers. Specifically Imperial Star Destroyers. There's a bit of a distinction here. Now, you might be thinking, there's all sorts of Star Destroyers, right? There's the Venator Star Destroyer, and then there's the Resurgent class Star Destroyer, and then there's the ones in the original trilogy, and then there's the big Super Star Destroyer. Today, we're going to be specifically talking about the Imperial Star Destroyer, that being, the specific one. Like, when you think of a Star Destroyer, you think of the ISD. ISD, it stands for Imperial Star Destroyer. Please keep up. Now, the thing is, there's actually two kinds of Imperial Star Destroyers. There's the ISD-1 and the ISD-2. Now, it might be saying, what's the difference? Yeah, that's a darn good question. Alright, so first, here's a picture of the ISD-1. Okay, look at it, right? Here's a picture of the ISD-2. You're looking at it. Can't tell the difference yet? Alright, I'm going to give you another try. Alright, it's okay. I know, you're not as big brain as me. It's okay. I am the smart one here. So anyway, here's a picture of the ISD-1. Right? Here's a picture of the ISD-2. If you haven't figured out yet, the difference is that little thing on the top. It's a sensor array. Basically, it's kind of like our it's how we communicate, because space is really big, and it's difficult to get a signal out there. So we need this big communicator array to, get a signal. The thing is actually, funny story, back in my Stormtrooper days, I was with my buddies, right? We were watching a show on TV, right? And then a micrometeorite, hit our sensor array. And then the screen went all fuzzy, and it came back for a little bit. Then it went away again. It was this whole thing. So we sent Gary up there, because we all did rock paper scissors to see who had to go fix it. We sent Gary up there, and I think he fixed it because it started working again. But we never saw Gary again. I think he just let go. I think he just floated off into space. I think he's still floating around there somewhere. Yeah, we should probably tell someone about that. Anyway, that's a story for another day. So anyway, yeah, it's our big sensor array. The thing is, on the ISD-1, it's in a X shape like that. And then the ISD-2, it's more flat, because, we just downgraded it. No, that's not the only difference. The whole thing is that the ISD-2 is essentially the upgraded version, right? After the Battle of Yavin, that being, where the rebels blew up our Death Star. So anyway, the rebels, they were this, little group. We didn't really care about them. So our ISD-1s were doing fine, alright? They did their job, they were doing great. And then they blew up our Death Star. Which really pissed us off. I was like, alright, we're rolling up the sleeves. We actually have to fight these rebels now. So that's where the ISD-2 comes in. We essentially upgraded. We got more guns on that thing. Better sensor array on the top, upgraded that thing. Put more, the deck guns on the side, we also changed a little bit. But also we just added more, all around the thing. Because we have the main, deck guns. There's 4 on either side, those? But there's also just tons of, turbo lasers all over that thing. It's a beautiful thing to see. You gotta see them. Oh, they're so pretty. Such a good ship. Anyway, the ISD-2, it's just the upgraded version. It's nice. Now, the thing is, we see the ISD-1. It's the first thing we see in Star Wars, one up. First we see the Tantive 4 in A New Hope, and then, woo, way bigger ship, way cooler ship, that being the Imperial Star Destroyer. Yeah, it's a very cool scene. Iconic scene. The first scene in Star Wars that was ever shown to anybody. That's the first scene of any Star Wars movie. It's insane. So anyway, first we see the Imperial Star Destroyer. You can see it's because it's got the X thing up there, right? Iconic. Absolutely iconic scene. I love it so much. But anyway, I'm here to talk about the Imperial Star Destroyer. So, that's the first time we see it in A New Hope, and all the ones in A New Hope look like that, because, ILM, that being Industrial Light and Magic, the people who make the props for Star Wars, that's how they designed it. They made that model, and they used that in the movie. So that's why we see it like that. We also see in Rogue One, I'll talk about this a bit later, but we also see ISDs in Rogue One. Now, the thing is, for The Empire Strikes Back, for whatever reason, ILM made a new model of a Star Destroyer, and it looks slightly different. It looked almost identical, except for this one minor detail. Why they made a new one? Don't know, but that's the reason. That is the reason that we have to make a distinction between ISD-1 and 2, because ILM just made a new prop, and it looked different. And for whatever reason, that was the prop they used in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So yeah, that's it. That's the reason we upgraded, because ILM made a new prop, and yeah, that's the reason. However, this gets more interesting, because you see in Rogue One, when they made that movie, ILM, this was in 2016, more technology has developed, you see. So they made a big CGI model, you know? It is amazing. It looks really good. You know, have you seen that scene where the two Star Destroyers crash together? It was an absolute travesty, and I cried watching all those Imperials die. It was a horrible, horrible tragedy, but it was really impressive visually to see this. It was just really cool. But that model is an ISD-1. You know, you can tell by the thing, the little sensor array on the top. So it's weird because that's the only thing they have, right? They have this really good ISD-1 model, but they don't have an ISD-2 model. The thing is, in The Rise of Skywalker, you may remember that there was a big Star Destroyer fleet. So those are ISD-1s, which is weird. Because basically, that movie was very rushed. So they were like, oh crap, we need a big fleet, and we don't have time to make a new model of a Star Destroyer. We're just going to use this old one we have. So they literally just took the ISD-1s, put cannons on the bottom of them, and kind of painted them red a little bit, like at the front. And they're like, there you go, that's your Star Destroyer. That's the best we could do with the 2 months we were given to make this, or however long they got. It's kind of ridiculous how rushed that movie was. So, but it doesn't make sense though if you think about it, because those should probably be ISD-2s, since The Rise of Skywalker takes place after A New Hope. Because, you know, in between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back is the time that the Empire, you know, upgraded all the Star Destroyers. That's when we, you know, went from the ISD-1 to the ISD-2. All the old ISD-1s were upgraded, and you know, with all the new technology and stuff. So, why then would there be a giant fleet of Star Destroyers hidden under the ice that are all ISD-1s for the Final Order fleet? Wouldn't they be ISD-2s? What the heck? So, this is mainly just another minor thing, but next time you watch Rise of Skywalker, which you probably won't watch Rise of Skywalker for a while because it sucks. But anyway, if you ever do watch it again, you'll now notice that those are all ISD-1s. And that bothers me, because it doesn't make any sense. They should be ISD-2s. What's the point of this video? Well, now I've pointed out. And now that you've seen it, you can't unsee it. So every time you see a Star Destroyer, you can now check and see, hey, is that an ISD-1 or an ISD-2? And all you got to do is look at that little bridge thing at the top. The little sensor array. Is it an X or is it flat? Because if it's an X, it's an ISD-1. If it's flat, it's an ISD-2. And, yeah. So what did we learn today, class? Well, the ISD is really cool. The Empire is very based. And Rise of Skywalker is a very bad movie that was very rushed. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed. Bye everybody. And maybe I'll do another episode in the future. I like doing these. These are fun. I just point out weird Star Wars details you probably didn't notice. Because you're not as obsessed with Star Wars as I am, more than likely. Yeah, I love talking about Star Wars. I should really end this video already. Like, I'm just kind of rambling on. Like, I said bye already, I think a couple seconds ago. So I'm going to say it again, and then I'm going to stop the recording. Okay, bye.